Good evening. So today's story is Thumbelina. There was once a woman who wanted to have a tiny little child, but she did not know where to get one from. So one day she went to an old witch and said to her, I should so much like to have a tiny little child. Can you tell me where can I get one? Oh, then the fairy gave her a small seed and said that if you grow this with a lot of care, affection, love, this will turn into a baby. So the lady thanked her and went. And then she went home and planted the uh, seed into a flower pot. Some days she watered it and showed lots of care and affection to that plant. And after some days, the plant grew up and it became a flower which looked like a tulip. So from that, she was so happy to see it, and when she kissed the flower, then the flower petals opened and a small girl came outside. So the woman felt very happy seeing that small child coming out from the flower, and she also named her as Thumbelina because she was not tall than her thumb also. So her name was Thumbelina. Then the woman took a lot of care of that small child Thumbelina. She loved her so much. So she had a separate bed with nutshells, with violet petals and a rose petal too as a bed sheet for her. So she used to get up in the morning, and then in a bowl she used to means have a rose leaf on that she will sit and use it as a river. So after a few days, when they were sleeping, a frog came from the window and took the Thumbelina. She thought that this she is so pretty, this girl is so pretty, so she can be the wife of my son, she'll be perfect. So she'll take and keep her on a lotus flower which is attached to the ground in the river. Then the after day, the frog mother says that, son, she is your wife now, you both will be getting married and you have to take care of her and she can't escape from here. Then they'll start the preparations for wedding. Meanwhile, three fishes come and see that Thumbelina is uh, crying and she needs help. So those three fishes bite the stem of the leaf, and then the leaf flows through the river. Days and nights pass over, and when it was night, she used to take a half part of the leaf and cover her as a bed sheet. Then after 1 or 2 days, a fly came and took the Thumbelina and thought that she was so pretty, and she took to her family and said that I'm going to marry her. Thumbelina didn't like, and the family members of the fly said that she had 2 legs and 2 arms, she's so ugly, she doesn't suit to our family. So the fly thought this was true and left Thumbelina deep inside the forest. Walking, Thumbelina saw a house, and then she knocked it. Mrs. Mouse came outside, and Thumbelina asked her, could I please stay here? I've lost in the woods. So the Miss Mouse have and took her inside, and she prepared supper for her and let her stay all the winter in their house. Thumbelina was very uh, thankful to Mrs. Mouse, and she said that you are very kind natured. So after that, after a few days, Sunday came, and the Mrs. Mouse said that every Sunday we'll have a visitor, our neighbor. My neighbor will visit me every once in a week to see how am I. So this week also he is going to come. Then knocking door sound have come, and then Mrs. Mouse opened the door. Thumbelina saw a mole, and they went to supper. And while Thumbelina was speaking, Mole fell in love with Thumbelina, and he wanted to marry Thumbelina. So the mole asked Mrs. Mouse to make her agree to marry me, and then I'll give you all my food. In greediness of this money, Mrs. Mouse have agreed, and she asked Thumbelina. Thumbelina was not happy, but they started the preparations. Thumbelina cried, and she tried to escape the next day, and she saw a sparrow who was wounded, and she bought bandages and cured the sparrow's wound. And then the sparrow asked, you helped me a lot, thank you so much. In return, what can I do for you? Then Mrs. Mouse and Mole come ask, calling her name, Thumbelina, where are you? Thumbelina, where are you? Then Thumbelina listens to it and says to Sparrow that this Mrs. Mouse, I'm not interested in marrying Mole, but Mrs. Mouse is letting me to marry Mole. So can you please save me? So the sparrow says that climb on my back, I'll take you somewhere else. So then Thumbelina climbs on Sparrow's back, and they go to the flower garden, and he leaves her in the flower garden. Then the king of the flower garden comes and says that you're so pretty, will you marry me? Thumbelina thought that instead of that ugly frog and fly and the mole, he's best. So she married him, and then she set a condition that I'll marry you only when after marrying, if you take to my mother. Then the king agrees, and after marrying, he gives him her flies wings, and they fly to their house, Thumbelina's house. And the woman is very happy to see Thumbelina, and these they three people live together happily forever. Thank you.